Guys, I just want to remind you that tickets for the Saving Grace Jungle Fever tour are out now. We are going all over. I'm talking Cardiff, Birmingham, York, Bristol, Southend and Oxford. Anywhere that you can see on the map, your girl will be there. There'll be guests, there'll be performances, and there shall be alcohol. Link in bio. Welcome back to another episode of Saving Grace. Today, we've got my jungle bestie on. It's the Rev. Woo! Rev, can you believe we're back together?
I can't believe that this is how you live when we're not in the jungle, like Barbie, Princess Barbie.
I feel like you got to know the real me, but you didn't get to know the real me.
It's the weird thing is that you bump into people you're in the jungle with and they're not wearing stinking camp clothes.
Yeah, and you're not, the first thing you're saying to me is not, oh God, I stink.
Well, I mean, you smell, but in a nice way.
Thank you.
Thinking, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like our smells are a little bit better now.
But my question is, how did Colleen look as good on day 24 as on day 1? Because she never showed any of the beauty regime or anything. Or maybe you saw it.
Well, you know we're on the same skincare.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, and I look like the before picture and she looks like the after. So I can't tell you what she's doing.
I like the way it was like a sort of mummy chimp picking ticks off a baby chimp when she did your hair every morning.
Yeah, I could tell her face was probably like, this is stinking.
No, she was very happy with it. And then I learned what a French plait.
French plait.
I learned what a French
you still haven't learned how to do one yet?
No, but I know what it is. You get an extra bit of hair, right?
There we go, exactly that. Yeah. I want to take it back to the start of the jungle.
Okay.
When you got the call.
Yeah.
Did you originally think this is a bit of me, or what was the vibe?
I thought, make him go away. Because, I mean, I've been part of the trawl before, because everyone gets trawled.
Yeah.
And I thought that's really not going to work for me. And so I said to my agent, I'm not interested, make it go away. And then he cleverly got me to have the meeting. And once I had the meeting with Mickey, I just lent into it straight away because I liked her so much. And because I asked her questions, which I thought, I'll know if you're lying or not. And she told me the truth.
Yeah, like how bad is it going to be?
What's the worst thing?
Yeah, and she did say that.
Boredom.
I
wasn't bored.
I wasn't bored with you.
Well, if you hadn't been there, it might have been.
Yeah. Because we had good convos.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Ask me anything you like.
Have you Googled what scissoring is yet?
No, but I asked, I was at the National Theatre last night.
Okay.
So I asked some of the younger members of the cast what scissoring was. And they made it sound, it's like leapfrog, but with you there
vaginas
rather than thing. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, yeah, actually it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that cleared your...
Well, it's conjured the beginnings of a mental image that I don't particularly wish to flesh out anymore. And I'm certainly not going to try it at home.
No. It would be weird if you tried that, actually.
Well, I think gentlemen probably have issues around that, which would rule it out.
No holes in the right places there, I would say.
It's a bit of a mystery to me, all that. And also, I'm at a time in life, Gracie, where anything more than just getting on and off a bed would require winching or orthopaedic aftercare. So that's not happening.
A massage.
More than a massage. Like displaced hips. And
we can't have you with another hip.
No, well, a new knee is coming, I think.
Really?
The hardest thing I found in camp was going up and down those bloody hills all day.
What no one tells you is how hilly the rainforest is.
Yeah, and they say, don't worry, if you can't do it, we'll get a thing. But then it was so wet, all the paths got washed away. And
you couldn't have a stair lift going down to the creek. That is an ick.
It's the one thing that made me feel, well, apart from not knowing what scissoring was, not knowing what sick was, not knowing what a vajazzle was. So lots of the conversation with you younger one, it was like listening to Syriac. I had no idea what you were talking about at all. Sick. I had no. I thought sick was bad. I didn't know it was good.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And you didn't really know what a Hollywood wax was either, like a laser.
No,
all of that.
Idea, no idea. All the I didn't know what a back sack and a crack was because someone I did a funeral for, she offered me a free one in Boston. And I sort of said yes because I thought you always say yes, bunch of flowers, whatever it was.
Yeah, cool.
And then I found out what it was.
And you didn't go?
I just thought, I can't imagine preaching a sermon to someone who had depilated my testicle.
And to be honest, you'd be too aerodynamic then.
Do you think?
Yeah, you'd be very cold in the chapel.
Well, that's a point.
Because churches are cold.
Yes, not my church.
Oh, really?
Number one priority we had was to make sure that it was warm. So, especially because you've got older people coming.
Yeah.
You don't want to have
bad
your congregation
circulation.
die of hypothermia.
No, it wouldn't be a good look to the parish.
No.
And also I'd say like pews could do with some modernising, if we're being honest.
Well, thereby hangs a tale, because the most controversial thing you will ever do as a vicar is not bless a same-sex couple or say Father Christmas doesn't exist, although all of that, has happened.
Trigger warning.
It's move a pew. People really, really don't like you moving pews. I tried to do it once. I was almost lynched by my own congregation.
Really?
Yeah, burning crosses on the vicarage lawn.
Okay, note to self, don't move a pew.
You know why?
Why?
It's important to people. It's their place. It's what they've got. They were there before you were there. They'll be there after you've gone.
Yeah.
It's important, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Leave the pew alone.
Not for you, though, because you float through life like a Maybelline cloud.
Yeah.
Just picking up massive cash value endorsements.
Of course, that is me. Chores.
Yeah.
Let's discuss.
Yeah.
Worst chore.
Well, I think the worst chore was probably washing up.
100%.
And I was mostly excused that because I got a bad back, although I did do it a couple of times to show
Did
willing.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate, when I did washing up first week, I thought this is not for me.
Yeah.
And in the rain, and before people started getting eliminated, there were so many pots.
So many pots.
And pans to wash up. It was awful.
Good training for cooking, actually, because I've learned in cooking is clean up as you go along. You won't regret it.
Yeah, I've started doing that now. I haven't cooked, actually, since I got home. Oh, no, I did.
What did you cook?
I cooked a chicken chorizo creamy pasta.
Yeah.
And a salad.
It's not really cooking, is it, Grace?
No. I'm going to cook a roast tonight, though. I'm going to try.
What are you going to have?
Camembert for starters.
Right.
I'm going to cook roast potatoes.
Yeah.
Pigs in blankets.
Yeah.
A beef. Never cooked a beef.
Easy peasy.
Really?
Yeah, just the secret is just get really good quality produce.
Good quality what?
Produce. Get really
produce?
Good meat, really good. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm getting it from Waitrose.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
So I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And something else, which is stuffing.
Right.
I'm just starting off with a small main bit there.
I would add to that a cauliflower cheese because everybody loves that.
Oh, I'll try and make a cauliflower cheese, you're right.
Yeah.
What do you think about people not doing chores or slacking on chores?
I thought we were pretty good.
I thought we were pretty good.
The whole thing about Dino, but I thought it was a bit unfair because Dino did loads of trials. And the deal we had, as I understood it, was if you did loads of trials, you didn't have to do the chores.
Because the trials take about 5 hours of your day, just to let everyone know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I thought everyone, I mean, there was a little bit where you needed I think we needed to work out what it was we needed to do and who was going to do it.
And you had a meeting, and I quite enjoyed the meeting. I know no one else did, but I quite enjoyed it.
It needed to be done, though, I think.
Yeah.
Just needed a bit of clarity.
You're so good at meetings.
Do you think?
You were so professional, and you had a really soothing voice, so you couldn't get irate. Yet you went full Vic.
Yeah, full Vic, yeah.
And it was amazing to see.
Yeah.
And you even said, this isn't aimed at anyone. We just need to sort this out.
Exactly.
And I thought, yeah, because if I did that, I'd be like, you're all shit.
You'd be vindictive.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And you'd think, while I'm here.
I'd go around one by one and tell them how awful they are.
That's where you let me down.
Right. You've come into the jungle.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. You come in and you're with Maura.
Yeah.
I want to say quickly as well, you got around lying really well because you didn't lie. Because I said to everyone, guys, they're not lying because he's a reverend and that's a sin.
Yeah.
And then we reread the letter and you didn't lie. Really?
How clever of you to notice that.
Thank you. You just skirted around the truth.
Well,
you just didn't say much.
I was being very careful about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wanted to dump Maura in it and get Maura can lose her soul, but I've got to worry about my own.
Yeah, of course.
So I made Maura do all the heavy lifting, really, and Dino. But Dino's the worst liar in the world.
The worst liar in the world.
I mean, do play poker with Dino because you'll clean him out in one game because he just couldn't. My favourite moment, one of my favourite moments, the whole thing, was when we had to pick either Dino or Danny to come into Junkyard. They thought it was awful. And they both, in that way, went, oh, yeah, no, I'll do it. And we went, okay, Dino. And Danny immediately stepped back and Dino was left there. And he had to do it. And I looked at his face and he sort of went...
Yeah, Danny said he looked so upset.
So pissed off.
Dean may not have lasted in his chores because he had so many trials. But do you know what does last? Maybelline Teddy Tint, which is the perfect time to tell you about today's sponsor, Maybelline UK. Teddy Tint has got a 12-hour wear as long as you tap it down first. It's non-transfer, making it kiss-proof, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. I've gone for the colour number 10, Current Mood, because it's a little nude colour, and I like it. So you just put it on like this, and the top lip, never forget the top lip, come on. And then all you've got to do is tap it, and then it'll be 12-hour wear, and I'm going to show it exactly that it's non-transferable, so you believe me. I know my producer is about to get mad here, but I am going to show you by kissing something, like my cream chair. I'm going to do it. Right, here we go. Let's have it large. Can you see? There's nothing there. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to do it on my hand as well. Clean hand. Let's give it a snog. You see? No transfer at all. Phone case. Mirror. That was unhygienic, but I did just kiss that. No transfer. Never a transfer. It's 12-hour wear as long as you tap it. There we have it. Maybelline UK's Teddy Tint is kiss-proof. Pass it on. Get yours at Superdrug now. One thing I want to point out here is when you said, the dunny, it's not really, you know, what do we actually
I honestly thought.
pee in?
Well, what did you think?
I knew it was going to be a dunny, but I didn't think it was going to be that.
I seriously thought that was like TV dunny, and that there would be, I mean, you know, like a portaloo or something rather, but something with that blue flushing stuff.
Yeah, none of that.
I didn't think I'd be shitting in a bucket with 12 strangers for 3 weeks.
No, and the worst part was when they'd forget to change it like one day.
Yeah.
And the smell was really...
And there's a bit where they said, it'll be really heavy now. And I thought, I don't want to know anything more about the dunny management. Yeah.
And the spider, you didn't really care about the spiders.
Spiders don't bother me at all.
Even the big ones?
Quite like them. Didn't bother me. The only thing that ever made me jump was a rat in Bush Telegraph.
Oh my God, yeah, it jumped out.
And it just, I went like that. But then I was all right, because I just thought, it's there. They're not going to hurt you, right? They're not going to hurt you.
The thing is, though, they say it's not going to hurt you, but before you do a trial, they go, by the way, the animals in there might bite and scratch and sting.
There's always the disclaimer, T's and C's.
T's and C's apply.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the T and C.
If you die, we will not pay for your funeral.
Of course. Yeah. And I wonder if anyone has nearly died on I'm a Celeb.
Well, I think the thing, you're not going to be killed by a critter. You're not going to be killed jumping out of a helicopter. You're going to be killed falling over and banging your head in the creek. I think.
You know that night that we all had one glass of wine before I was voted off?
You mean 2 glasses of wine?
2 glasses. No. Was it? 1.
I got 2 for continuity reasons. That was did I tell you my plan?
No joke.
Well, so I necked the first one, and then I thought they're going to have to give me another one for continuity, and they did.
You are so smart.
Just crafty.
And I'm fuming you didn't share that plan with me, but I was pissed as a fart.
On the one drink?
I fell over on the way to medical.
What was your drink? Did you have Prosecco?
White wine. Because the Prosecco at the Jungle Arms didn't hit.
No, I had a red wine which didn't particularly hit. But
really?
Then we got a bigger drink on the last night when we had our dinner with me and Colin.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Again?
I had 2 big glasses of Chablis Grand Cru. It was lovely.
Were you pissed?
I kind of was a bit.
Love that.
And you know, I drink every day, like social drinking. So to not drunk for a while. I mean, it's the same thing with eating stuff. I remember Dino gave me a dried apricot, and it was just like the most delicious thing I'd ever eaten.
The boiled sweet.
Everyone moaned about the boiled sweet.
Apart from you.
The boiled sweet. Slow release sugar.
It is a war food. Like, that's what you'd get as your treat in the war.
Well, I know that you think I was born in the war.
Of course, yeah.
But I was born sort of 15 years after the war, but my parents grew up in the war.
And they liked boiled sweet.
So there was a lot of, like my mum made this thing called brown cake.
I've heard about this.
It was cake made without anything nice at all. It was like, you know the things that they give to cattle in fields to lick at, or like bird fat balls.
Right, yes, like that. Yeah. Oh.
And it was to get you through a time of famine. And so I grew up with a lot of that stuff.
We went through a time of famine.
We did?
We did, yeah.
We did?
Both of us.
We did, didn't
in the
we?
jungle.
Yeah.
And No. I felt like a little grain of rice when I left, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
But in there, I never felt satisfied.
I thought it would be the toughest thing for me because I'm a greedy thing. And actually, I didn't really feel hungry once. Partly, I think it's because rice and beans is so unappetizing.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat. But partly also because I did so many food trials. I think I was actually taking in quite a lot of calories and protein.
Can we talk about your food trials?
Yeah, we may.
So, worst thing you ate/drank was probably the herring. Was it herring?
Fermented herring, surströmming.
And what people don't know is that actually those trials that you see on telly, like they last on telly about 5 minutes. In person, that first trial lasted about an hour.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And it took you about 40 minutes to drink that. And I don't blame you.
It wasn't quite 40 minutes. It felt like a day.
Yeah.
It was long. But yeah, because it was just so disgusting. And the other thing, which I don't think I told you, is that some of them they'd salted. So that one they'd salted, and also the witchetty grubs they'd salted. Because I think
that's what threw you over the edge.
Well, I think if you're the food, if you're the chef who makes the horrible food, they fine tune it to take you to the very limits of nausea. Because you don't want to chuck, because if you do, you'll lose a star. But they want to get you pretty near. And it was very, very near.
And they didn't air you vomiting?
No, well, it's not a good look, is it? And
no.
I kept it down long enough, but I was really struggling. And then after I'd been, you got the star, I had to let it out. And that was mostly undigested witchetty grub.
Oh.
Which wasn't great.
That I've never seen someone gag like you, but keep it down at the same time.
Had to. You know what it's like?
No. Listen, Rev, if they put me in that position, I'd say you're all starving tonight.
Just not happening.
Not happening, not for me.
Would you say, before you put me in there, I'm a celebrity and I'm out of there?
Absolutely. Yeah. When they'd read out that you're doing something like buffet from hell, I'd say, God bless, I'm not even going.
Not happening.
No.
I remember also being a vicar for a long time, so I'm used to going around to people's houses and sometimes being served up food that was not palatable.
It's true, but no herring.
I once went round I had lunch with someone who'd had very bad dementia, and she'd sort of forgotten how to cook stuff. And there was this whole meal. It was a bit like doing a food trial of kind of mouldy old stuff came out or uncooked stuff came out. And I just had to get on with it.
You ate it?
Yeah.
You are a man of God.
Had to be done.
That's insane.
There are things you've got to do.
But I remember you telling me that story about you got fruitcake every year from that lovely lady.
Mrs. Needle.
Noodle?
Needle. Yeah. Marion Needle.
And then she stops when you left.
Well, it's a perk that comes with the job, and once you leave the job, but I do every year. I miss Marion's. She made me a fruitcake and a Christmas pudding. It's just the best I've ever had.
Is that the only reason you kept going for so long? For the fruitcake?
One of the reasons. Yeah, a significant reason.
What was the best thing about being a reverend?
Oh, it was being part of the life of a community. It was I baptised the kids, married the parents, usually in that order. And then I buried the grandparents.
Oh, that's a bit of fun.
Part of people's lives.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I love them and they love me. And we had a laugh. We had lots of fun. I was in the parish band, the Cupping Melons. And
Cupping Melons?
The Cupping Melons. I don't know what that meant either. Do you know what it means?
Grabbing tits.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Tell me that.
Sorry.
That was at the cricket club. So I was in the Cupping Melons and I was in the panto. I did Spirit in the Sky. And
did you?
Dressed in an ultraviolet suit, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And just, the privilege of being part of people's lives. It was great.
And most of their lives too, I guess. You do the kids and then...
Yeah, you saw pretty much everything.
That's mad.
Yeah, it was great.
I was most interested in the jungle about your funerals because it's hard to make that fun.
Well, sometimes they are fun.
Really?
Well, a funeral, like anything else, can go wrong, okay?
Yeah.
But because it's a funeral, everyone's at their most sort of solemn and most anxious to try to get it all right.
Yeah.
Things go wrong. And when David died, so the company who did David's funeral, my late partner, they were the company I work with all the time. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of bants that if you're a death professional, if you're a medic or a funeral director or a clergy, there's bants because you need to do that because you have to just keep it distance a bit. And they were great, these guys. And then, so when David died, they turned up on the day of the funeral, and of course they were completely professional and sober. And I sort of went to bants, and they just can't do it because I'm the mourner.
Yeah.
And that all carried on. Then after the funeral, we were taking David's coffin to be buried in the churchyard nearby where we had a little cottage. And I was sitting in the hearse with the bloke, and we were going down the A6, and an ambulance went past with a blue light going and the siren. And the bloke absent-mindedly said, "Well, they're playing our tune."
See, that's what you need. I'd hate if it was really like, I don't know, I've never really had anyone die near me, apart from a granddad.
Right.
But he was old anyway.
Well, I mean, it's all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's also very often kind of, there's comedy as well as tragedy mixed in there.
When you do mine, will you throw in a few funny lines?
Yes, I think so. But the chances are, Gracie, that I'm going to die before you.
I've told you you have to cling on.
Well, you're what, 25?
Yeah.
I'm 62.
How long, say...
You probably get to about 80, you probably get to 90.
No, I hope not.
And then I've got so I'd have to be like 130 something.
Okay.
You see, the unlikeliness of that. And I caned it in the 80s, so that's taken years off.
Yeah, well, I was going to say maybe, well, you never know, I could go at 30.
Well, you could. I mean, I hope you don't.
I hope I don't.
Go on and develop and become, I could see you becoming politically very significant.
Oh, really? I'd like to be on a £5 note.
I think you could make the tenner, maybe even.
Really?
20, yeah.
Maybe not 50 though, that'd
Nobody
be too
wants
far.
to do.
No one uses 50s,
no.
unless you're a drug dealer.
I suppose so, yeah. I don't have much to do with.
No, I can't imagine you do.
Well, not these days,
No.
anyway. I've visited a few in prison.
You know I've been reading your book.
Have you?
The one with you like this on it.
Oh, being on
And
holy.
you talk about the French horn.
Oh, yeah.
Because you liked the French horn.
Love the French horn.
I don't know what a French horn is, but I was imagining like a man with a moustache blowing into like a baguette shaped.
Not really
horn.
that, no. Oh, noodle. Can I have noodle?
Absolutely, you can have noodle.
Nudes.
Noodle. Oh. How iconic that his uncle is a Rev. Well, the people that don't know, because I have been reading in your book, how you came about to become a reverend, because you were a pop star.
I know. Isn't that ridiculous?
Well, no, I find that really, because there was a story you told me about trying to trash a hotel room and you couldn't trash it.
No.
And I really enjoy that. Can you tell that story?
It wasn't me, actually. It was Dave, who was our bass player. So we were like really big for a while. And we were touring the world, and it was sex and drugs and rock and roll. These are the days when it was like pretty, what's the word I said? Insane.
Yeah.
So it was pretty insane. And Dave, our bass player, came down. We were checking out the hotel.
Of course.
Switzerland, Zurich, I remember. And he came down and he went, last night I trashed my hotel room like a proper rock star.
Of course.
And we went, oh, wow, well done, Dave. No one had ever done that before. But when we asked him about it, we discovered that what he'd done was tear up a copy of The Guardian. And we made him tidy it up. So it wasn't quite the Rolling Stones, you know. It wasn't The Who.
You were morally right, pop stars.
Well,
sometimes.
I don't know. There was always... I had lunch on Sunday with my nephew, Ollie, who's now 21. But when he was about 13, he kind of began to figure that the adults in his life had a backstory. And he calls me Tricky. And he went, Uncle Tricky, Uncle Tricky. Yeah. And he said, were you in a band? And I said, yeah. And he went, a real band? And I said, yeah, we had number one and everything. Look it up. So he got his phone and he kind of found a video of Don't Leave Me This Way. And he was watching that. He started kind of grooving along. I thought, this is good. By the end, he was sort of banging. I said, what did you think? And he said, oh, it's great, Tricky, but even then you can tell there was a vicar struggling to get out. So it came as no surprise. I mean, why I was in the pop band was the surprising thing. Not that I became a vicar. I was always going to be a vicar.
Oh, really? Do you think?
Yeah, I do now.
Yeah, I see that. And then you came back from Ibiza.
Yes.
And you looked at yourself.
Well, yeah, so I've been in Ibiza. That was the end of a year of heavy leisure, if I could put it that way.
Absolutely. We get your drift.
Yeah. I came back from Ibiza and I went out for a weekend. Went out on a Thursday. The next thing I knew, it was kind of Monday, maybe Tuesday. And I was on the circle line going round and round. And I was wearing like this stupid, I had a sombrero, I remember. And then this long sleeve T-shirt and then these stupid shorts of those big trainers with the tongues.
Oh,
British.
you told me about them.
Stupid shoes. But I could see my reflection and I had these two little cake-dried rivers of blood coming out of my nose.
Wow.
And I thought, this is not a good look.
No.
And I thought, I've got to get a grip. So I did. I've always had a sort of powerful self-preservation circuit that kicks in sometimes. And it did. And I thought, I've got to get a grip because I'd seen so many people come properly unstuck that way.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to.
And then how long after that did you become a Rev?
Oh, quite a long time. So I started going to church then. And I've been a chorister when I was a kid, so I knew where to go when I needed it.
Chorister.
Choir boy.
Sorry, yeah.
So I grew up with all that.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And I didn't believe any of it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the music and I liked the people. Something, you know. And so when I wanted to connect with it again, I knew where to go, and then I did. And the minute I did, it also came into focus. But I put off being revved for about 10 years. I didn't want to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I didn't want to be a vicar. I liked my life. I enjoyed my life. By then, a very sort of middle-class existence. I was living in London during the week and up in the country at weekends, had an Arga. Well, it's a Rayburn, poor man's Arga.
Oh.
You know, cast iron range cooker.
Yeah, of course.
And I had a really good life and I loved it. But in the end, I had to do it.
Wow. And you get a free house.
You do get a free house, but it's not always a great house. But I did very well. The vicarage we had in Findham was really lovely.
And do you know what I like as well? Just you, when we were talking in the jungle about how you were growing up as a kid, geeky little thing.
Very geeky.
Yeah, which I quite enjoy.
Were you a geeky?
Were
you an emo?
Yeah, I was an emu.
Were you?
Yeah, and it wasn't a good look.
I'm not clear about what's the difference between emus and goths.
I think
explain,
yeah, goths are a bit more like like they wear crosses a lot, and they're maybe a bit more like maybe a bit more biblical.
Really?
I'm probably butchering this, so sorry to any goths. And then emos are sort of like, they've got they've sometimes got a red bit of hair, and they're
would I tell the difference
emotional
between goth and emo?
Yeah, I think you would.
Paul's a good boy.
I think you would. Look at that.
Oh
My God.
This is how my dog liked to sit. It was on my shoulder.
Really?
Yeah.
People might not know you had 4 sausage dogs.
7 sausage dogs at one point.
7?
Yeah. Yeah, and we got down to 5 and then I got down to 2. And I lost them actually. The last 2 didn't make it.
Yeah, before you came into the jungle.
Yeah, do a double execution.
Can you tell me?
Well, it was. The death lady came round.
Yeah.
And euthanized them both.
At the same time?
Well, yeah, because Daisy had cancer and she was fading. But Pongo, who's only, they were 15 and 14, they were old. Pongo had blindness and deafness and dementia, and I talked to the vet.
I mean, that's no fun.
Well, it wasn't any fun, and also just thought he wouldn't adapt so well without Daisy, so they said, listen,
double homicide.
It was really funny because the people who do the killing,
yeah,
it's all very funny when they go, oh, we're so sorry to hear about your little ones, and we're going to help them go over the rainbow bridges, all like that. And I wanted to say, listen, I'm a vicar, you don't need to talk to me like that. I did it before. But they were all that. And then in the end, the lady said, and because you're doing 2 little ones, we are able to offer you a discount of 100 quid.
Did you take the discount?
Of course I took the discount. And then the deaf lady came round. She was very nice. And then they do this thing, so they euthanize the dog. They give them a jab first, which makes them fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then they do the death jab.
Of course.
And then your dogs die. And then basically it's waste disposal, but they do it all like a sort of funeral. So I took them out to the boot of her car. And when she opened the boot of her car, it was done up as a sort of chapel of rest.
Stop it now.
Came on a little bit of flowers and everything. And then you get a little light to stick and remember your loved one as it scampers over the rainbow bridge. And I really did want to say, listen, I've done this 100 times. Yeah. You don't have to lay it on with a trowel, love.
It's the flowers in the boot for me. Yeah. That's really nice.
Yeah. Well, they were very nice.
Did you scatter the ashes?
Well, it's a bit of an issue, that. So I got the ashes back in a little tin, and then David, my late partner, he's buried up in Northamptonshire. So I put half in his grave.
Yeah.
I think it's illegal, so sorry, folks. And then the other half, they're in the car because I don't know what
they're not still in the car.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure where to scatter them because it's trying to think where's a place where I can scatter them.
But no, I think when my cat dies, I'm going to put him in like a Monty Moo.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him in like a ring or maybe a necklace. Maybe put him in a bit of jewellery.
Well, you can do that. Yeah. I don't know. When they're gone, right. And I think you dispose of them in as appropriate a way as you can. The real issue for vicars is that people often want to be buried with their pets or their pets' ashes. And I would want to totally get it. But it is actually not lawful to do that.
I don't understand why.
Well, I can tell you exactly why.
Tell me now.
Because different rules apply to the disposal of human remains from any other remains. It's a different jurisdiction.
Yeah, you can't just bury someone in your backyard.
No, and also you can't just chuck the pets in. But what everybody does, funeral directors, clergy will do, is when the time has come to kind of screw down the coffin lid, if a member of the family should accidentally leave something in the coffin, it's just done. I shouldn't say this, we'll be arrested.
Well,
you'll be arrested.
I'll be arrested.
Yeah.
How fun would it be if we were in jail together?
I think we'd be all right.
I'd like to share a cell.
You know, it doesn't happen, but Peterborough Prison, where I used to do some stuff, they have a women's prison and a men's prison in the same estate.
Oh.
But you can't go between the two.
You can't?
No.
Maybe I'll just shave my hair off.
You'd be all right in women's prison. Shall I tell you why?
Tell me.
There's a Vietnamese restaurant in there.
No.
Yeah, because so many Vietnamese women were done for, I think it was drug stuff. that there were so many Vietnamese women there that they started a restaurant. You could get lovely kind of fur and all kinds of things there.
Really?
Yeah.
You've sold it to me.
Women's prisons much better than men's prisons. Men's prisons are awful.
Did you ever have to go into prisons?
Yeah, a lot.
No way.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Just grim, actually. They're not. I mean, there are some prisons where they're doing lots of great work, but it's so underfunded now, and it's so full. Their prisons are way beyond capacity.
Yeah.
They're pretty awful.
I imagine it like Prison Break, so I think that's where I'm getting that
like
from.
Prison Break
no,
at all.
I'll probably just abide by the law then.
I would avoid prison if you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also,
That's
so
good
we built a
advice.
new prison near me, and they had like their own toilets and stuff. We said, oh, they live in the lap of luxury. They don't live in the lap of luxury. In the prison. And what's different from a 5-star hotel is a 5-star hotel, you can go home.
And you can get room service.
And you can get room service, and very little room service. Well, unless you want spice or heroin or something.
Then you could probably get quite a lot of room service.
There's a lot of room service there. Did I ever tell you about my favourite naughty prisoners?
No.
Well, it was when we were doing a thing at North Sea Camp, which is a Cat C prison in Lincolnshire.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a unit where they're prisoners on day release very often and coming to the end of long sentences. And we had some lads there, and it was like a European eagle owl, you know, the kind of owl bird of prey thing that you can train like a hawk. Mm-hmm. And so they were training this owl, and it was fantastic. We thought it was great. And we were all excited about it, wonderful thing, symbol of them searching for the opportunities for freedom. So we're going to get Anglia News to come and do it and everything. And we found out they were training it to pick up bags of heroin.
No way.
Yeah, fly it back into the prison.
Quite smart, though. It's like a message by pigeon.
Well, I thought one of the things about being in the jungle that really reminded me of prison is how quickly you learn ways to, like the way we were able to work out what the time was by looking at the phones of the crews that went with us to trial.
Or when those stupid, what were they called, kookaburras, or the insects would go for it at like 6 p.m.
And you would know, wouldn't you?
And I'd say, right, better get me beans on.
Or listening out for that very distant, get me out of here.
Oh,
you know the programme had begun.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning.
That's very like prisoners. Absolutely tune into the little things to give you a feeling of power because you're not your own boss. Right?
I mean, Alan would thrive in prison.
Alan would be fine in any environment you could imagine.
Absolutely.
I want to know about him and Dino having words by the creek.
Yes. Have you not seen it?
I haven't watched any of it back at all, apart from what people sent me.
What about your trials?
No.
Really?
No, not particularly want to see myself. I like... People sent me flattering things that have been in the newspapers about me. So apparently I'm the nicest man in Britain now.
Do you know what? You don't have TikTok, do you?
No.
Right. So on TikTok, when I came out, I was scrolling and it was just everyone with little pics of you. And there's a trend where it says, if you ask me about blank, I'd say, yeah, I like him. But if you asked me on a deeper level, and it would be like your name, everyone was like, I love this man. He needs to be protected at all costs. People were crying over how cute you are.
Really?
Someone was crying on a train because they watched the episode and they thought you were so cute.
I remember with my PA Kate, I was doing a thing once and it was full of like fans of mine. And at the end of it, they were going, oh, you're great, you're great, you're great. And she turned to me and she just went, God, if only they knew. I mean, it's very flattering and nice, but I've no idea.
Of course.
Because when you're in there, I don't know, you're more experienced at it than I am, but I think you have no sense about how it's going down outside, or don't even think about it.
No.
Do you?
Oh, I thought about it, but I thought, I don't know if it's going well or not. Because you don't know. The amount of conversations we had in there, and I thought, if this gets aired, it could be a tricky one here.
We might both be cancelled.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Luckily, they didn't. The only one they aired was Scissoring, and I was shocked they aired that because I thought it's ITV, they won't air that.
Well, Anton Dex said it too, and I think it's not very often you'd expect to hear that come from the lips of two of our best loved light entertainment.
Of course, no, but I think we taught them something new.
Well, also, I still don't know what it is, really. I think it's like gymnastics or something.
I think you're so close.
Okay.
And I think you should not let your brain wander any further than gymnastics.
No, I'm not going to Google it, put it that way.
I got some questions for you.
Yeah, I'm loving your little...
From the public.
What's that bling on your phone?
Do you like it?
Yeah.
It's so, look, I just wear it like this. Oh my God, hey, I dropped my phone, but I haven't dropped it.
It's secure.
Because it's safe and secure.
Yeah.
Of course. Right.
Can you work a phone?
Showering naked.
Yes.
You showered naked. Luckily, they didn't show it.
I don't care.
You were the only one in there that did that, and I respect it.
I thought everybody did. I just thought, why would you?
You thought I was there with my nips out.
I thought everybody was. Why wouldn't you? It seemed mad to me not to shower naked.
It was tough not to shower naked,
I could
actually.
hear distantly the screams of people in VT13 whenever it happened. Oh, my God! And I thought, that's not going to make the Christmas real, that's for sure. But how can you wash properly if you've got your pants?
To be honest with you, I had bad jungle purse, so I don't think I really washed properly.
Right.
But
I also thought if girls are showering together, girls aren't body shy, are they?
no, but
Not
then
really.
the camera that was there, and I'd go, can you turn away?
Right.
And it would just stay on me.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there is someone in some room watching me right now.
Well, in my case, of course, all I could feel for that person is pity rather than blame. So that's not a problem. But also, do you know what? When you've had cockroaches burrowing up your chuff, you don't really want to.
So true.
You just got to deal with it, right?
And fish guts everywhere.
The fish guts so foul.
I have a vendetta against fish guts.
My worst thing was the fermented herring because just a drop of that on your clothes and it stank and attracted flies. They had to be burnt in the end.
Yeah, a lot of our clothes had to be burnt. If you've got fish guts on it or fermented herring.
And I think what people don't think, another thing I thought was if you did a trial, then just offset, there'd be hot showers and fresh change of clothes. You're stuck in those stinking clothes for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, you have to walk back, often in the cold as well. You know, when you'd get they'd put fish gut in and then you're wet, and then you have to walk back for about 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Freezing.
And I used to quite often sort of strip off after a trial and get Michael, the nice security guard, to empty the bucket of water over me. So he was all right about that, but his battle-hardened ex-military, I think it was harder for others.
Yeah, the security men were so tough and we were all just pathetic next to him. A pathetic
So
excuse.
pathetic. I liked Michael, he was nice, and Ethan was nice.
And I liked Matt.
Oh, yeah.
With the moustache.
And Ricky was very nice.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on, I'm glad I've taught you that.
I say it all the time now.
Do you?
Say it in a sermon. Come on.
Go on. Amen. Come on. What is your most memorable memory from the jungle?
Oh, gosh, my most memorable memory. So many. I think I really, really loved the Jungle Arms. And I thought our night in the Jungle Arms was great. You singing Murdering.
Yes.
Danny's song. And Danny's kind of fixed smile as he realised that probably his PRS was going to really nosedive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Obviously. You went. That was good. Maura's Celine Dion, which was like something from... If you could have like a chamber of horrors of vocalists.
Yeah, it was that.
It was that.
100%. And we got peanuts.
We got peanuts, we got pizza, do you remember?
Oh my God. And we took the piss. We all ate all the pizza and the crisps. We were at bowls and bowls of it. And they were telling us to slow down. And we were like, well, we're not fucking doing that.
And also, continuity. You eat it all, they're going to have to give you more.
And they did. But then the pizza came out and we were all like, oh. And I ate so many peanuts that my lips swelled up.
You've got like a allergic reaction.
From all the salt.
The other thing I think, Rose, is, when they do give you food, you go, oh, it's stone cold when you get it. It's like being a judge on MasterChef. It's hours before you actually get it.
Stone cut, like the burgers and the hot dogs we got.
Very welcome in their way.
Of course, thank you so much. But freezing cold. Like, was your final meal cold?
No, for some reason I think it's just because there was just three of us, it was easier to do. So,
fine. And
they really did try very hard. I mean, I had a cottage pie that was so delicious. I couldn't finish it though, because my stomach was so small. I didn't want to trade in my smaller stomach just so I could have a cottage pie.
Everyone in there lost so much weight.
7.75 kilos.
Wow.
That's over a stone, apparently.
That's incredible.
How much did you lose?
I think about 5 pounds.
But then you didn't have much to lose, did you?
Yeah. I was fuming. I thought, I'm going to be wheeled back into Heathrow.
What was your most... Oh, other memorable things. I loved that night in the Jungle Arms. I liked waking you up with a cheerful song in the morning.
That cracked me up.
Really suffered.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I would say that was actually quite funny. You were the only one I'd let sing to me.
Yeah. And even then
I thought...
Lisa gave me... She wasn't happy.
Really?
Not happy at all with music in the morning. So I get up and I ride away. When I'm on holiday,
it's so annoying.
I'm not allowed to speak until after breakfast.
Yeah, you are like... It's like you've been up all day.
Yeah.
When you wake up.
Yeah, I dip in the afternoon.
I'd open me cocoon and I'd just see Richard by the fire and you'd say good morning to me, but I just couldn't speak back until...
No. I thought you looked like you'd been in a sort of road traffic accident and that you were being scooped up and taken off to A&E. That's what you looked like. And
then I'd wash my armpits 10 minutes later and I'd be back awake.
You'd be all right, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but you were very good on the old pit management, I think. Did you So the other thing I really liked was swimming in the creek.
No, I don't know why.
Loved it.
For those that don't understand, the creek is like freezing cold. It's got water spiders. It's cloudy. Yabbies.
I know, but there was something about getting in the creek, the pool,
Yeah,
and just sitting in that. I really liked it.
Do you know what you'd benefit from on the outside world?
Not wild water swimming.
Ice baths.
Oh no, I'm not going to do that.
Well, that's what you basically did.
I saw, what's his name, Andy Murray do it, and I thought that doesn't look like fun.
No one looks like they're having fun when they're in an ice bath.
Did you have a nice flight back, by the way?
No.
So hang on, where did you fly? You flew.
So I flew to Singapore.
Oh, well, your plane was delayed, wasn't it?
Also, so we had a 3-hour layover.
Where?
In Singapore.
Right.
It was turbulent, and I kept getting in my girlfriend's pod.
Yeah.
Obviously to Spoon, and as soon as I'd get into Spoon, the seatbelt light would come on. So I'd then have to climb all the way back, and this went on for 14 hours.
Like lesbian Mile High Club thing.
Yeah.
But don't you go to the lavatory for that?
Well, we didn't do any fingering. Right. Just because that felt like I'm not very good on planes.
You know,
so I wasn't
when you
in the
first
mood.
talked about fingering,
yeah,
I thought you meant piano fingering. So I was having this conversation, but after 1 hour in, I thought, you're not talking about piano fingering.
yes, the conversation
It's one
went
of
on.
the first conversations we had.
Of course it was. That's very on brand. But I was like, what do you like to watch? And we were talking about Real Housewives. And then Rev just went, and just like fingering tutorials. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he meant
piano
tutorials.
Yeah,
but for a minute there, I questioned what was going on.
Well, that's very much a closed book to me in my line of...
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close for me too. I'm not very good at it.
Well, I thought eyelashes told a different story, but never mind.
What was it like not knowing the time?
Well, it was kind of weird. I realised that so much of my life is time governed because of, like, you know, lots of people, I'm busy. So I like to get on with things. And it was a bit twitchy about that. But then after a while, one of my favourite things was just not looking at a screen, not looking at numbers, not looking at emails. All that.
And you could nap whenever you wanted in there.
Yeah, and it was dark, you went to bed, it was light, you got up. Well, not you.
Not me, of course. I'd go back to bed.
But you did create a sort of, like it was a sort of darkness. It reminded me a bit of the pods on Aliens, you know, where the crew go to sleep for 800 years.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
And then we'd revive for rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
I've eaten so much rice since I got out.
Too.
Then I thought I wouldn't.
But you know, Gracie, big confession, I didn't mind the rice and beans.
Confession, I didn't mind the rice and beans.
Really?
Yeah.
Whereas Al, it was like, he was really struggling.
It was blasphemy for Al.
Yeah.
But I quite liked it. I didn't mind it gooey, but like, what's the word? Fried was okay too. Sometimes a bit crunchy.
When we had the porridgey rice in the morning with a piece of fruit.
You're welcome.
Did that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I tried to.
You did very well in the kitchen.
Thank
Didn't know
you.
how that was going to go, but resourceful Gracie we saw.
And you know what? All they aired was me setting fire to the pan 800 times.
Well, you were big on flambe, if I could put it that way. Yeah.
I was big on flambe.
But you didn't have a panic. At one point, I thought your eyelashes would obviously come from a factory somewhere. You might lose those, but you did all right.
I did all right, didn't I? And my extensions. Oh, if you had to... what's something I'm a Celeb viewers would be shocked to learn?
About me?
Maybe about the show?
I think the thing which I thought was weirdest was when we move between trials and you have to form a crocodile and you put your hand on the shoulder of the person in front of you and they put a towel over your head.
Yeah.
Like you're a criminal going into Crown Court.
It was like that.
Glorious trial.
Yeah, that shocked me. And also we got a voice of God.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah. Good morning, campers. It's time to get up and start your day.
Oh.
That was Sarah Jane.
I used to be like, please.
I sent a present to all the voices we spoke to.
Did you?
Yeah, because I thought it was so...
I don't know who they are still.
Well, there's Chris and Emma and SJ.
I only met Lee.
Dan and Lee and Larissa.
Yep, Larissa.
So I sent them all something because they were just so nice to talk to. And they were very nice to us, weren't they?
They were not, and especially when we were complaining and hangry. They dealt with us very well.
You complained a fair bit.
I did. Do you remember once when they said I had to go and do a challenge and I just lost my shit?
Don't remember.
Were you in it was when there was a storm and we were all in Bush Telegraph.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
I thought, I'm not fucking doing it.
Did you do it?
I didn't. Yeah. Well, I said after that, I said sorry. I was being a bitch. I'll do it, and then I didn't have to do it.
But I thought it was very interesting about what people's tolerance are, and I think it's one of the advantages. If you're older, you're just not really bothered about that stuff so much.
Yeah.
And I think it was very interesting that Baz was tireless in his work. Jane was tireless in her work.
Absolutely.
I think the person who most impressed me with graft was Cole.
Yeah.
Because I thought Colleen, more than any of us, is probably needn't lift a finger in life.
Of course.
Someone else would do it for her, but she just...
So hardworking.
I thought she's such a great person, didn't you?
Oh, honestly, she surprised me quite a lot as well. I didn't know what to expect from Colleen, but she was just so nice.
I found her a little distant at first, and I thought maybe it was because she's grand, and it wasn't. It was because she's shy.
I think, and she was also a bit overwhelmed when she came in, because she said there was a lot of big personalities, and she's just not really... someone to walk into a room and be like, it's me.
Yeah.
So I think she struggled with that. But then she came out of her shell and she was great.
And I love the way she just... I mean, it's funny, on the plane on the way home, so I flew back with quite a few, actually, and Cole and the kids were there. And her mum and dad were in the bar practically the whole flight, of course.
Of course.
And the kids were running up and down. But I looked around and I just saw her, and she was just packing the kids' bags like any mum would anyway,
She is so organised with those kids.
Yeah.
I have never seen... I will never reach that level of organisation. I wish I could, but I won't.
Yeah.
Are you organised?
Yeah, but I only really have to organise myself, and until recently sausage dog. So it was, I'd love to organise nudes a bit.
Oh, you can organise nudes any day. Look at that.
Me. Darling. Look how fat I look in this knitwear. I didn't realise.
Don't look fat.
I look like a sack.
You're a skinny...
I do. That's what happens when you get to be 62-year-old retired gay vicar. You get fat and sack-like. It's true.
A sack has really made me laugh.
Well.
Okay. Biggest lesson you learnt?
There are lots of things as you get older where you think, I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give a reason or an excuse, but I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's bad. You should open up your life, not close your life down as you get older.
Yeah.
So that was it. Learning about scissoring, insofar as I have.
Of course.
Stretching yourself, doing things, saying yes to things that your better judgment says you should say no to is always a good idea, because I just learned an awful lot. And I had a great time. I loved meeting you, and I loved lots of what we did was just terrific.
Yeah, I know I moan, but it was actually quite fun.
It was, wasn't it?
It was quite fun.
What did you find the hardest thing?
I think it was dealing with a lot of big personalities with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I'm someone that likes to be on my own quite a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So having people that are constantly like singing, dancing, always full of energy, I was like, after the first week, I was knackered of just social interaction.
Is that why you zipped yourself into your euthanasia pod?
No one's going to bother me if I get into this pod.
I found that hard just because normally in life, I really like people. I love big groups of people. I enjoy it. It gives me energy. But I do like to retreat and do some sit in the kitchen. And there was none of that.
And the weather was so bad. Usually you could maybe like go up to the creek or something. It was so bad you couldn't do anything.
It was when I got out, the first day, I found it really difficult to focus my eyes. And I think it was because we'd been just in camp for so long. And all of a sudden there were mountains in the background and there was lots of sky.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird.
How did you find coming out? Because I found it really overwhelming with all people and interacting.
All I wanted was to get in the shower.
Yeah.
So I came out and I was third and I thought that was good, although a little part of me thought I might win it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought you were going to win it. I was on my socials.
This might be the year for the old gay vicar.
Yeah.
But of course, when I think about it, of course, Danny, and Cole were both so brilliant, of course they were going to win. But I allowed myself to think that I might win.
Oh, well, I was rooting for you on my socials. Well, I hope you know.
So I came out, and then it's so quick. So there's Ant and Dick, you have your interview, then you have your interview with Joel and Sam, and then I was in a medical.
Oh,
and
God,
then I had a psych assessment. Did you have all that?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the execs came out and said, oh, you were great, well done, blah, 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 blah. That's really nice. And then you're in the back of a troopy and you're driving to the hotel and there's a camera with you there.
Yes, you can't really have the convos you want to have as well.
And then when we got there, we were 20 minutes early. So we had to sit round the back where they were picking up the bins and everything. Very celebrity. And then you walk into the thing and everyone, I remember seeing you there and everyone was clapping and cheering. There were lots of fans there.
A lot of fans.
Stuff. And it was all a bit mad. But I was just thinking, I smell like I've died in a sewer. And I just really, really want to get filth off my body.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get to the room. And then they followed me up to the room and there was this whole stupid walk in, walk out, another setup, do some interviews. And then finally they left me with a dozen oysters and a dish of delicious prawn.
Oh, incredible.
So I ate them and then I had a shower and then I had to have a second shower because the first shower just really...
It didn't do the trick.
No, it didn't.
Did you have to do any press as well?
Yeah, I did. I did some press, did some pictures, and then I did a live on, I think it was This Morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and then we had our staged party.
Yeah.
And that was a bit mad.
Can you all stand in a normal semicircle and pretend that you haven't been told to sing?
Noodle.
He's obsessed with you.
Love Noodle.
Oh, I'm going to get him in the parish.
Yeah. Can I have him?
No.
Okay.
But you can come visit him.
Mean. Nudes. What are you? All right. So they quite happening. And then it was. I just remember sitting in a jacuzzi on this 26th floor in this suite overlooking the whole of the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Thinking, watching a mealworm float up from some body crevice where it had been for, I don't know, 3 days, and thinking, will this ever end?
Thank God that's over.
And then we had to go home, so it was very...
It was quick.
I went mad shopping the next day.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I bought tons. I went and bought stuff that I could buy in Eastbourne for 2/3 of the price. Okay. But I just wanted to go to a shop and buy stuff.
Just go wild.
And I left half of it in my wardrobe.
Do you know what? I loved the after party though. I think it was really fun. And I remember at one point, me and Ella were having a bicker. It was over something so stupid. Yeah. And you came over and you went, you guys having a lover's tiff? And I lied to you and went, no. And she said yes. And you just stood there like, I'm going to leave.
But it was... I mean, adjusting back, it's because Dickie, my partner, he's an actor and he's in a play in London at the moment, so he couldn't come out. So I saw Dickie, it was on, what was last night? Oh, Tuesday. When is it? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So it was the first time I'd seen him. So I had to rush around and do stuff.
Well, it
was on Sunday because we had a family thing on Sunday. So he came up to that and all my family were there. We had lunch up in Peterborough, near you actually.
Come on.
And then I got back and then I saw Dickie last night in his play and he was just amazing.
I can't believe you've only just seen him.
Yeah. So that
must have been nice though.
Well, it is, but it's kind of, our life is like that because he's always in a play and always doing something. So we kind of, when our paths cross somewhere in England, overnight in a Hotel du Vin.
Did you apologise to him for me killing him off in your letter?
No, I didn't.
Okay, if you could do so. He didn't watch it.
Not really.
Rev.
He got his mum to watch it and get edited highlights. He doesn't like that sort of thing.
So when you told him you were going on it, what was his reaction?
Yeah, I guess so. You would, wouldn't you? He hates it. And also he doesn't want to be, I mean, he's in the public eye through his work. He doesn't want his life in the public eye at all. Famous dad. He grew up with a famous dad.
Really?
Yeah. That put him off all that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What was the saying? Everyone in the jungle was like, you don't want fame, you want money, or whatever it was. Fame's the worst bit.
I want both.
I want both.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're on the same page.
Well, I want
people screaming my name.
I want people to think I'm great.
Yeah.
And I want them to endorse that with hard cash.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to live in the middle of nowhere with an electric gate.
I don't want that.
Right.
I want to go around. I want to do everything I want to do entirely on my terms.
Yeah.
But I think if I'm doing something that people like, I'd like to see my fair share of that. And I don't want to live high on the hog. I'm not interested in sports cars or anything like that. I like to have money that will enable me to have choices in life and for others to have choices in life. When you get to my age, a lot of what you do is look after elderly relatives who have care needs, and it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for earning a bit of money to provide for that, and also for your own old age.
You don't have to worry about that, though, because I said I'd wipe your bum.
Okay, when do we start? Do you need a sort of dry run with that?
Yeah. I'd say when you start going a bit towards the edge, I'll start.
Not long now.
Not long.
No.
A few more years.
No, you do find as you get older that when you're young, it's all about getting your body fluids out. When you're old, it's all about
keeping them in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hear old people let out a little toot and it makes me laugh a little bit. Is that bad?
Coles. I did. I just was windier than I thought. I farted in my sleep, according to OT.
You did quite a lot, apparently.
I was asleep.
Yeah, but sometimes I do that in my sleep and I wake myself up.
But do you think that was because of the beans and rice?
I think we were on a very proteiny...
flatulent
meal. Yeah, flatulent meal. And it's not us, it's them at the end of the day.
What about you? What did you like most?
About the jungle?
Yeah.
I liked all the interesting stories that everyone had.
Yeah.
I liked just the fact that we were in the show. You know, well, I watch the show usually every year, and it felt really weird to actually be on the show.
I thought that the bit where you walk into the camp and you think, oh, it's
so weird,
smaller than I thought it was.
Yeah,
it's like Top of the Pops. You walk to the Top of the Pops studio first, and you think, oh,
it's quite
so
small.
Much smaller.
And meeting Ant and Dec.
Yeah,
I can't believe
I've met them before.
Yeah, everyone had
Dec
apart from me.
Accent.
Does he?
Yeah, so we'd bonded over that.
Oh, small dog for a small man. Cut that.
I know. I think Dachshunds are very on brand, really.
Yeah, very on brand.
Poodle's not exactly a bloody greyhound.
Well, I was gonna get a what are they called? What are the little Pomeranian?
Poms, like Cole, she's got a pom.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh, a little pom.
We should do a thing with all our pets,
should we? Yeah, I need you to get a dog next year, and then we can make them be friends.
See, I'd really like a poodle, but I think you might have stolen a march on that.
No, you have to get one. We can have poodles together.
I'd love Noodle.
What would you call it?
Noodle.
Just Noodle.
No,
Noodle one and Noodle
I've
two.
always wanted to call all our dogs after characters from Wagner operas, but David would never let me do that.
Right.
So I probably would call, if it was a boy, I'd probably call it Siegfried, I think.
We're going to the opera.
We're going to the opera.
One about Victorian sick kids.
Well, do you know, there's one on at the moment which I think would work for you, La Bohème, which is about a seamstress in Bohemian Paris.
Right.
At the end of the 1800s, getting consumption and dying.
That's on brand for me.
Falling in love with a poet and a painter and stuff.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah. Oh. Noodle. Do you need a poo?
I want to breathe. Look at this. Sacking and, I don't know, moob stuff happening.
Not moob. Well, I'm going to take you to get a vajazzle. So I want you maybe in like...
What do I get?
A vajazzle.
Well, how can I have a vajazzle when I haven't got a
peejazzle.
A pajazzle.
A peejazzle.
A goochazzle.
A goochazzle.
What for? I don't need any entertainment.
Because you're introducing me to your life.
Okay.
And I'd like to introduce you to mine.
Have you had a vajazzle?
No. But I'm thinking we could... Hello?
Would you do it for show business?
I'd do it for showbiz.
Okay.
If we ever got a show, I'd do it for the show. They'd have to blur it.
Where do you go?
I don't know, Essex. We'd have to go to
What about a colonic
Essex.
or something like that? I don't want one, but...
We could do a colonic.
Have you had one?
No, I think it would do me good though.
Who was it who had them all the time? Somebody.
Was it Oti?
Yeah, it was Oti. I think Collard had one as well.
Yeah, she said she couldn't wait to get out and get a colonic.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's very good for you.
Not if you do it in too many times.
But your biodome, whatever it's called, I don't want to eat yoghurt all day long because I've had my arse hosed out. Not really.
Yeah, but I bet we'd feel lighter.
What about spa day? Can we do that?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Although I feel sick after massages.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what the science is behind it, but I always feel really unwell.
But would you do the whole facial stuff and everything?
Absolutely, yeah.
I would like to go to Glyndebourne, but that season doesn't start until May. But we could go to the Royal Opera House in London if that's it.
We'll go to
Could you sit through a whole thing?
Yeah, I'd have my Duolingo out so I can understand what they're singing
they've got surtitles in English so you can see what's going on.
As long as they sell... I'm so sorry, he's chewing the mic. As long as they sell... Hello? As long as they sell Prosecco...
Prosecco is champagne.
Champagne, darling.
Yeah.
As long as they sell champagne, I'm there. I'll get you a champagne during your vajazzle. We'll go for a spa.
Have I got to have a vajazzle?
I want you to make me some... Yeah. And I want you to make me some homemade mayo.
It's so easy.
And one thing Rev is stush about is mayonnaise.
I am stush about. I'm not just mayonnaise, about
not just mayonnaise.
Foods generally.
Yeah. You won't ever buy store-bought mayo.
Well, I mean, I would in an emergency, but I'd rather not. And also, it's so easy to make your own. Why buy?
And I don't know if they air this on the show, but you're very against chip shot gravy.
Totally. I know, it's awful. And I just feel like alienate the entire of the north of England when I do it. But I think chips just need salt and vinegar. That's all you require.
That upsets me a bit, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Dickie and I had fish and chips yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
And you had no...
Haddock chips and mushy peas, 2 slices.
I'm going to try haddock.
Haddock's my favourite.
Because I've never had it before, but you said you have haddock.
Well, see what you think. I think haddock is a better fish than cod. And in the north of England, when you go for fish and chips, you get haddock, not cod.
Right.
In the south, you get cod.
Do you know how I'm going to end this pod? 2 things. Number 1, we're going to say our favourite things about each other.
Okay.
Tell me yours about mine.
About you?
Yeah.
You make me laugh 10 times a day.
Thank you. My favourite thing about you is I love how cute you look in a turtleneck and how smart you are.
I love this.
Yeah.
Even in my old
you
man
look
sack.
So cute in a turtleneck. It makes me want to cry my eyes out.
I make you want to cry.
In a good way. You know, like if I gave you this puppy, you'd probably cry.
I'm already crying.
Scream.
Yeah.
And the thing I ask all my guests is if you had one bit of advice to save Grace, which is me, what would it be?
So easy.
Okay.
Get a pension.
Oh, not this again. I'm going to get a pension.
Well, don't dismiss it out of hand because you won't regret it. Let me tell you, you're 25 now, but you'll be 65 before you know it. And you'll think, if only I'd listened to the Rev.
I'm going to get a pension.
Get a pension. You won't regret it.
And when I reach 65, hopefully you're still alive. And I'll say thank you.
I'll be, 92 or something.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Do you think?
Yeah.
You should see my 80s. I'll be very lucky to get past 70, honestly.
I need you to get past 70.
All right, I'll do some Pilates or whatever.
Yeah, get a drip or something in and you'll be all right.
You know, with Pilates, there's a bit in when you do a baptism, people have to say to Pontius Pilate. And now there's people doing this who will say Pontius Pilates.
Very yoga, mum.
Very yoga.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Well, Rev, thank you so much for coming on.
You know what you've forgotten to do?
What?
I was going to bless that dog.
Can you bless my dog?
Of course I can.
Right, Noodle. How do we do this?
Just hold him up.
Okay. Noodle, you don't understand what's going on, but it's good for you.
Noodle, may God bless you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And may you have a very happy life and lots of treats, but not so many that it impacts negatively your health outcomes. Amen.
Amen. Yay! You're going to heaven! Oh, you have no clue what just happened.
It would be awful if you just died now.
Could you imagine? Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on, Rev.
It's a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
I'll just stay here for a couple of months.
That's absolutely fine, and I'll see you at the Vajazzle.
See you at the Vajazzle.
If you've been watching, give it a like, subscribe. If you've been listening, give it a follow and a 5-star review.